Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
We're going for a drive.
'21 Jaguar F-Type
R convertible without launch control. Holy crap.
horsepower and torque.
575 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque from a supercharged 5-liter V8.
So they changed the looks of this and they changed the model lineup. What's the deal?
Well, I think they actually ruined the entire character of the F-Type, but this is still a great car.
How did they ruin it?
Several different ways, and I blame European regulations for all of them. Number one, pedestrian safety. The front end looks a little bit different. We'll get to that in a bit. And the exhaust. It's just not as loud as it was. Still sounds really good, but they got rid of all the crackles and pops.
And it doesn't really kick in until you're at 3,500 RPM, even with the exhaust open, with the exhaust button.
Yeah, exactly. So like 3,500 is the only time that you get exhaust, and you have to be fully on it. So listen, there. And then it sounds really good above that.
Yeah, it is kind of crappy sounding how it's definitely air until 3,500. In Jaguar's defense, I think that's nice for daily driving.
For daily driving, sure. But when we drove the SVR, we were so happy to drive that because it just sounded like an animal. This is insane.
Driving behind this guy is the worst because I'm in a convertible right now. I'm driving behind him the whole time.
I am the most annoying person in the world with this car, for sure. I feel like they literally took a Jaguar, chopped his balls off, and then this is what we have.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the
Below
future.
3,500.
That's the future of cars, but above 3,500, it's one of the best sounding cars of the year for sure.
It's mental above 3,500 still. And the best part of this is no longer the crackles and pops because you can't do the little tap, tap, tap. Now the best part is the exhaust sound when you upshift from the ZF 8-speed auto. So let me just upshift at the upper RPM. That's unreal.
And what if you give it a Savage Geese, bang it off the limiter?
Let me downshift. It's not gonna sound very good.
Like, it's kind of okay, but not as good as the LC500.
Exactly.
Which is not a selling feature. No one should care about that. That's just a dumb joke.
Yeah, exactly. So there's been a lot of changes for 2021. This is a mid-cycle refresh, but I'd say it's a pretty substantial one. They actually changed a lot of suspension components, especially in the rear end, but this still gives me so much confidence, just like the previous generation. And I need to mention that this is all-wheel drive because the first time that both of us got into it, we were both like, wait, this is rear-wheel drive, right?
Yeah,
nope.
You're like, wow, this handles better than I thought it would. But
yeah, so this is all-wheel drive, but it's, again, one of the best feeling all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive systems because it's very heavily rear biased. So let me send it into cliche corner and prove that point with the traction off. And this thing is an absolute maniac, like just maniac.
It's very good for all-wheel drive system.
Exactly. And the steering is great, and everything with the suspension is also really good. However, I find it a little bit too stiff in dynamic mode, but we still have normal mode, so it's totally fine.
Really? You think it's too stiff?
Yeah, it's an F-Type. It's a Jag.
I mean, it's like F-Type and R. Like, this is definitely the stiffness that I think it should be.
But I expect more luxury out of Jag. Maybe it's just in my head.
I think that's in your head. I don't think they're that kind of company anymore. Like, they've got the Project 8, like.
I guess. And there is no more SVR, so this actually gets the previous generation's SVR drivetrains. We have the exact same engine and transmission.
And then can you get the R in rear-wheel drive in Canada?
No, you can't. Only all-wheel drive, which isn't that bad of a thing considering how rear-wheel drive this feels.
And then you can't get a manual in these anymore.
No, it's totally gone.
That was like 2014, I think they had one where you could.
Yeah, I feel like the take rate on that was like 1% or something.
Yeah, don't worry. Everyone's going to stop doing that because they don't get sales. And then in 10 years, everyone's going to bring it back because they realize that's the only way to look cool for marketing.
Yes, so if you do have a manual transmission car, your car will be worth a lot in the future.
We
probably.
think.
So let's get to the looks, starting with the front end, which is I think where they got neutered because of the European safety regulations for pedestrians.
So they got rid of that cooler style, older looking front end with the different headlights, and now they've got those sleek headlights, and I guess it's flatter at the front. It kind of goes along with the rest of their branding, but I don't like it. It's my least favorite F-Type / XK vehicle that they've produced.
Exactly. It's not like it's a bad looking vehicle, but the previous one existed and just looked so much better and so much more unique.
But the hood does still open the other way.
Yes, which is a nice touch, I guess.
And then if you look down at the hood from the front, it kind of looks like an exomorph or xenomorph or whatever they're called from Aliens.
Oh, the alien thing. Yeah, I could see that, I guess.
Yeah, there's a name for them, but it kind of looks like that. And it kind of looks like a 4th gen F-body Firebird from the top.
Okay.
You know, because you can't see the headlights at all. It looks like it's got flip-up headlights in this color at least.
All right, interesting. Not the first thing I would have thought of.
And then if we look at the side profile of it, it's pretty simple. We don't have like a big wild spoiler like that SVR we drove previously. It's nice and sleek.
It is really sleek. It's still a very good looking vehicle. The wheels are like all right though. They're not very good.
Yeah, they're pretty all right. They definitely match Jag. And what would be the Continental recommended tire for the F-Type?
The Extreme Contact Sport.
And then also with the side view, this is a convertible.
Yes, it obviously is.
And the top operation is very quick, one of the fastest, and you don't have any panels that need to come up, and that's probably why it's so quick.
And you can do it up to 50 kilometers an hour, which is pretty decent.
But it doesn't look as good with the top up. With the top up, it looks like a Miata.
Yeah, it kind of does.
And then moving on to the back end, we still have a double dual exhaust that looks pretty good, just like the old SVR did.
And it's very real, and I think it looks really good because we also have the little dots in the actual exhaust tip.
But you can't rev it all the way out when you're parked, so let's listen to that.
Yeah, soft limiters. What are you gonna do, I guess?
And then we've got a cool little diffuser at the bottom in the middle, but in black, nothing like really stands out too aggressive. I think if it was in that blue, it would look a lot wilder.
But with this diffuser, I think this one looks cooler than the Porsche GT4 because it has this extra little bit on the bottom. It's the same idea where it has like a channel in the middle though.
This competes with that, eh?
Yeah, kinda. Kinda. No manual. Not that it really matters.
And then the taillights are also refreshed. They've got a really, really cool pattern when you look close up and a really nice shape from a distance. And then we do have a spoiler back there that'll go up when you're driving. You can also click the button to make it go up, unlike a lot of the other Jaguars, which you only could set up for cleaning mode.
Yeah, because the previous gen would let you press the button, but nothing would actually happen.
And then looking at the trunk, we do have some cool hips or shoulders or whatever, cool body lines there. It does look muscly, but man, I get pure Miata vibes off this now.
Yeah, I really do because of that front end. Like, that's what changes the whole character of it.
Oh, but at the front, all the grills are real, and they're doing it the good new style where if they have to put fake behind it, at least the grill in front of it is 100% real.
And I actually do have a beef with that. While I do agree that it looks better, it's actually a pain for cleaning because it's really hard to get in because you get stuff stuck in between the grill and the fakeness behind it.
So you don't like fake grills.
No.
And then you don't like real grills with a panel behind it.
That's right.
So
I just like real.
What would make you happy?
A real grill.
What if it wasn't advantageous for the car to have a hole through it? What should they do?
Just black it out, just body.
Like the Civic Type R at the front?
Yes, pretty much that. It's gross, but like it's better than this, I think. And one final send, the song of my people. Nasty. Only above 3,500.
I'm gonna try to shift them myself. Okay, that's really good, and you have a shift light where the gauge just flashes completely red at you.
Yeah, and it'll do 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds.
But it does flash that red super early. You can really like stay in it a lot longer.
It accounts for the lag.
And we know a lot of you guys are watching our videos without subscribing. It's actually 55% of viewers watch without subscribing and 45% do with subscribing.
So if you 55% subscribed right now, we'd get like 600,000 subscribers right now, like
in
this
one
second.
day?
Yeah.
Still wouldn't get us to 2 million. So moving inside here, it's pretty much exactly the same, but there are a few little changes, like the gauge cluster.
Yeah, the gauge cluster is probably the biggest change that you can visually see.
I think the old one was analog on the sides with digital in the middle.
Yes, it was exactly that because you had your shift light in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle it would turn to what gear you had.
That's right.
But not your speed, which I really liked. I also really like this. You can also change to like full map and 2 bubbles and all that stuff, but we've got it both set up as just the tack in the middle.
Yeah, and then the funniest thing is when you don't have any information on both sides, it just shows the car on both sides facing the same direction, which looks a little weird to me.
But when you change your modes to dynamic, snow, or whatever, it'll change the environment of the car. So sport is red, snow is like a fully snowy environment. It looks really cool.
It does look cool.
Top-notch graphics.
And then the infotainment is pretty much exactly the same as the previous one.
Yeah, there's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but for me, my Apple CarPlay worked the first day. Then when I got in it, it didn't work until I drove for like 2 hours, and then it worked again later. So as tradition is, the infotainment screwed up in these.
And I also have a confession. I got kicked out of one Bluetooth call on my Android Auto once.
Yeah, one day. It's been okay so far.
Yeah.
And with traction on, I'll do a little boot through cliche.
That sound.
With traction on, it gets like a little loose, but you feel in full control the whole time.
Totally.
It's kind of like a cheater mode that pulls you through way more effortlessly than you thought you'd have to in a car that looks like it'll spin out at any moment.
Yeah, it'll still give you like a couple degrees of sideways, but nothing close to when it's off.
And then I guess if this is competition for the Cayman,
Yeah.
or the Boxster even, because it's a convertible.
And the 911.
The paddles on this, you can actually shift a lot more. You're not just like holding on to one gear forever. And you got a lot of power like throughout the whole band.
Yeah, and they're nice quality paddles too. Where I think the previous gen had the cutouts that kind of like hurt your finger.
Yeah, I think so. And then just to prove your exhaust point, I'm not going to get on it until after 3500 just to hear that air transition crossover.
Please do. There.
But like, okay, my Prowler's a little annoying sometimes where it's drony while I'm driving around, and I wish it was quieter. This kind of solves that for people like me.
I get that.
So as much as the exhaust isn't as crazy as the old one, I don't fully mind it and I get it.
But if you're gonna buy an R, you probably want something mental, but maybe that's just my image because of the previous gen R, which was mental, and the SVR was also mental.
Yeah, but this is 2020, right?
2021.
Everything's getting neutered, everything's different now.
The future sucks.
And then with this infotainment, we do have rewinding Sirius XM satellite radio stations, which is nice.
And we don't have any hard radio controls, but we do have hard climate controls, which is nice, but I find them kind of hard to see in direct sunlight because this is a convertible.
Yeah, and I really haven't had that much problem, but I actually can't see the infotainment at all right now because it's reflecting perfectly into clouds.
Yes, exactly.
Like, here, I'll take a photo just so people know. And then this does have a really high quality reverse camera, which is nice, and a radar that goes all the way around, but no front camera, no 360 camera. I guess you kind of don't need it, but this is like an expensive car.
Yeah, but like you said, I don't feel like you need it in this. However, what I feel like you do need in this is adaptive cruise, and this one doesn't have it.
Yeah, it only has normal cruise and a speed limiter, and then it has lane keep, which is pretty good, or it's like lane departure assist. It actually kind of pulls you out, but it's not lane centering at all.
Exactly.
And then as for other materials in here, we've got this cool pattern down at the bottom where the shifter is.
Yeah, and then we have a bunch of gloss black, which kind of sucks, but there's not that much of it, I guess.
Then we got a cool little R logo up here at the top, and then we still have that vent that pops up and down, which is like the coolest thing about F-Types.
It's still super impressive.
Then we got our door controls on the left, and we got really good lumbar support. These seats, very firm, but very comfortable.
Yeah, no complaints whatsoever.
And then let's check the visors.
Total fail?
That's fine, it's an F-Type. And then cup holders, I got a huge rant here. So, small cup of Tim Hortons coffee, didn't fit, it popped the lid off, and I actually spilled it on myself.
Yes, you did. Follow us on Instagram, TheStraightPipes Irritation.
And then I got a small cup of McDonald's coffee, and it actually fits perfectly fine. So that's the difference with small cups.
And the one thing that I noticed about the cup holders that's different than the previous gen is you complained about the grippiness of previous ones because of the rubber texture. These ones have been improved where you still have rubber texture, but it still holds it in, but it's also easy to take out.
Yeah, it's because they added that line down the middle, so there's less of a contact point. So it's easier to pull out, but it still has that squish.
So cup holder engineer that improved that, thank you for watching our video and improving that.
But you failed the small Tim Hortons cup, and I spilled coffee on myself and all over this interior.
Yeah, so you still got a job, but you got to improve that.
And I guess I should see how the transmission reacts when you're going slow in auto.
Yeah, ZF 8-speed, love it.
But it sucks because you floor it and you really hear that crossover from 3500.
And you get this squeal. Like, I can do it every single time because it'll squeal when the valves change over. So you hear it.
Yeah, it's like pretty subtle though. Like I didn't hear it as much as you hear it. So that's pretty much everything with the new 2021 F-Type R. Let's get to the price.
Well, it's a lot of money at $128,680.
Canadian.
Which is actually a bargain in comparison to the previous SVR. So that's nice because you do get the SVR drivetrain. But overall, I feel like it's a whole step back with this generation.
But maybe it's just holding on to what they have for the future. Like maybe it's gonna get worse and worse every year, and looking back in 10 years, this is gonna be a gem.
100%, but I don't think it's gonna be as much of a gem as the first gen was.
And I'm kind of indifferent to all of it. It doesn't really do it for me. There's no manual. The crossover exhaust thing is kind of weird. The looks aren't my favorite. I'm just kind of about it.
And we both loved the previous SVR.
Yeah, but I think I kind of like the offerings from every other company in this category more.
Yeah, just the exhaust of that previous SVR was so good that it just catapulted the car into another level.
But this one's still good, like.
And that is a horrible sound and a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
That squeak one,
thank you.
That was extra loud there.
So let us know what you guys think of the new F-Type.
Are you gonna get one? Are you gonna get an older one? Are you gonna get that older one with a manual? And there's a playlist of other videos here.
Yes, right here. I don't know which camera I'm looking at, but one of them will show it.